This Three Beards Media podcast may contain mature themes, and if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Like the podcast. Nailed it!
Welcome in, everyone. Episode 11 of the Hawk's Eye View with Andrew Barber and your other host, Drew Shipley here. Glad to be here on episode 11. We're sponsored, as always, by Revelton Distillery and Kyle Lightman Wintrust Mortgage, presented by Three Beards Media, and also Drew's Dentist. So Drew's Dentist is doing good work, so appreciate him. Quick opening drive here, Drew. How are you? How are you feeling? How you feeling? Are we doing better than last week?
So we had the tooth extraction, which is step 2 of this 3-step process, yesterday. So I had oral surgery yesterday. I am doped up on only Tylenol and ibuprofen, believe it or not, but I do have some antibiotics just in case things get gunky up in there. And I do have some oxycodone with a Narcan box too, just in case I OD. So that made me feel really good about just giving me oxy. So I'm avoiding oxy if I can, honestly. So it's just been the regimen of Tylenol and ibuprofen thus far. It sounds like that they're going to replace this missing tooth with an implant, which would be much better long term. But that is a 2 to 3 month process of healing since they removed the tooth. And I'll have what's called a flipper, Andrew, which is like a retainer that has your missing tooth that you'll just plug in, and you can actually eat with it, drink with it, everything that you can with like dentures.
Wow.
So I get that next week, so I should sound normal next week and
So
look normal as well, because, we have faces for radio, Andrew. So the fact that we do this live on YouTube and Twitter and our Facebook page through Three Beards Media is already kind of making me a little nauseous. So let's get on to the football game, Andrew. Let's move on.
Sure. Yeah, we won't talk about your questionable injury status for tomorrow's game.
Game time decision.
We'll get you off the injury report, hopefully. So, yeah, let's talk football. Hawks are rolling into this thing. It's the Floyd of Rosedale. It's another trophy game. Played a trophy game last week. Iowa's 2-0 in their trophy games. Looking to go 3-0 in their trophy games. They've owned Minnesota. They haven't lost to Minnesota since 2014. Last time they lost to Minnesota in Iowa City is 1999. I was in 7th grade. So
and that was Kirk's first year, right?
Yeah, that was Kirk's first year. And that was the last time Iowa lost to Minnesota in Iowa City. So there's a lot of history of domination here for the Hawks in the Kirk Ferentz era of Minnesota. A lot of great Iowa-Minnesota moments. What's your favorite Iowa-Minnesota moment?
So they've alluded to it a lot on KXNO today, and I cannot deny the fact that the 2002 season in the Metrodome, carrying or attempting to carry the goalpost out of the stadium in what seemed to be anointing Iowa as the Rose Bowl Big Ten representative, right? Kirk Ferentz had the roses, they're carrying him off, all this, that, and the other. Didn't result in the Rose Bowl. It resulted in an Orange Bowl loss to, was it Matt Leinart in USC?
Carson Palmer.
Matt Leinart, the next Orange Bowl. Just kidding. So, yeah, Carson Palmer, who was the Heisman Trophy. No, he wasn't the Heisman Trophy winner that year, was he?
I believe he was actually.
Oh, because Brad Banks was second.
Yeah, Brad Banks was. It was a Carson
I
Palmer.
couldn't remember if it was the same year Reggie Bush won the Heisman Trophy or not because they
Yeah,
played
give me 1
together, right?
second. Yeah, I think they did.
I just can't remember
Uh,
which year was which.
hang on.
I think you're right.
2002 Heisman winner Carson Palmer.
Brad,
Uh,
Brad Banks second.
Heisman Trophy voting: Brad Banks second, Larry Johnson, Willis McGahee. I don't know if Carson Palmer and Reggie Bush played together. That's the piece
They might
not
not have.
I'm not so sure on. I know that Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush did. Who else was on 2002 USC? Anyways, Matt Castle was on that team.
Okay. Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, yeah, the receiver Mike Williams and Kerry Colbert.
Man, I can't believe I pulled out that Mike Williams because you know how many Mike Williams have been in the NFL since then. Like, there's one
A lot.
currently in the Chargers organization who's on IR, unfortunately, because he was on my fantasy team. But
Right.
not here nor there.
Troy
Oh yeah.
Polamalu was on the defense of that USC team. So
Since we're reminiscing about old bowl game rosters, how about the LSU roster for that Capital One Bowl?
Which Capital One Bowl? You talking about the one where Tate to Holloway?
I'm talking about both of them actually, but yeah.
Yeah. Are you talking about the Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Leonard Fournette one?
Yes, that's what
That
I was
one,
actually
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. I have no clue how that LSU team went 8-4.
Because they play in the SEC, Andrew. They play in the SEC.
Okay, yeah. So did the Joe Burrow team that won the national championship. They had Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Well, they had Joe Burrow at quarterback, I guess is the answer to that.
Can you believe like how quickly CEH has come and gone out of the league? Really? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought he was so good at LSU. I really did.
He was.
And then as a rookie, he was great, and then just phased him out.
He was.
Which the irony is now, you know, Eric Bieniemy, the former OC there, is now our OC out here in Washington, and they are very pass happy with Sam Howell, thinking that he's Patrick Mahomes. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't understand. Throw the ball 65% of the time, which we will not see tomorrow, Andrew. We will not see 65% pass out of either team.
We won't. You gave your favorite moment, 2002. I'm going to go with another one that was also in Minnesota, 2008. I love the 55-0 Sean Green and the guys running all over the Gophers. I don't know how good Minnesota was that year, really, but Iowa was turning it on at the end of the year, and that was a huge Sean Green game. I just love the absolute. I just love the absolute domination. I love it when we just destroy a team like that. So give me that year, the 2008 year, and Sean Green, one of my favorite players. A lot of great players on that team as well. So let's look up some quick stats from that game because I loved it so much. Sean Green had 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ricky Stanzi threw for 3 touchdowns, 255 yards. We aren't going to see that much scoring tomorrow, probably, from either team.
No.
But if we do, it'd be a welcome surprise. So, all right, let's jump ahead.
Both of our favorite moments resulted in Orange Bowls, by the way.
2009 was the Orange Bowl. 2008 we played.
Okay.
What bowl game did we play? We played South Carolina. We played
Capital One.
I don't know what bowl game that was. Technically, I think that might have been an Outback Bowl. That was an Outback Bowl year. We played South Carolina and oh gosh, I can't even remember his name, but Spurrier was the coach.
Oh, the old ball coach.
Yep, we played Spurrier, South Carolina team. Sean Green had a pretty good game in that one with 3 touchdowns as well. Iowa won 31-10.
I don't know why I was thinking Orange Bowl 2009, because usually the bowl games are New Year's Day. So when I'm thinking of like the 08 season, I'm thinking of the 09 Orange Bowl. Maybe I get that mixed up. But anyway.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of what if there because Sean Green could have come back. And if he did, Iowa wins the national championship. You can't change my mind on that. You can't change my mind that if Sean Green comes back for 09, Iowa wins it all.
So here's my question is, if I recall correctly, then our running backs after that, was it Adam Robinson and Brandon Wager?
Yes, because of the Jewel Hampton injury.
Nailed it.
Jewel Hampton got injured, and then we got the Wager bomb and Adam Robinson for a year.
And that was the 2009 season where
2009 season
where they played at Wrigley Field against Northern Illinois, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Which I was at. Which ironically, 2 weeks from now, I'll be in Chicago.
Wait. Soldier Field. We've never played at Wrigley before.
Soldier Field. Yeah. Soldier Field in 09. But we're going to Wrigley Field, which is right above me here.
Yep.
2 weeks from now. I'm so pumped.
Yep.
Anyway.
Nice. Let's get focused on this year's game. Minnesota. If there's one thing I know about them, and specifically their quarterback, say he has a penchant for turning the ball over. He's thrown 6 interceptions. He's got a lot of turnover-worthy passes as well. This just looks like a game where Iowa's defense could absolutely feast on a bad quarterback. This might be the worst quarterback that we've played in a minute. Even though we knocked out Mordecai last week and his backup wasn't great, I think this Minnesota quarterback, this Minnesota team, this is probably one of the worst versions of Minnesota that we've seen recently. This is not anything like the Minnesota of the past 3 or 4 years. Because they turn the ball over on offense. They give up almost 27 points per game. They give up nearly 5 yards per play on defense. This is not your Minnesota team that you're used to seeing. Usually they're great run game, efficient enough in the pass game, a lot like Iowa, right? Efficient enough in the pass game, solid defense. They aren't.
I mean, if you go back past 2020, then yes, but
yeah. But what I'm saying in the past 3 years, 2020, 2021, 2022, when they had Mo Ibrahim and several other running backs and some wide receivers as well with Bateman and Tyler Johnson and
Tanner Morgan,
quarterback. Yeah. So
yeah, they did have a lot of stability, Andrew. Like you said, like over the last 3 years, Tanner Morgan, 5th-year senior last year, Mo Ibrahim, which had his season cut short, I believe, in 21 with a torn up knee. We didn't see him in 21, but 22, he ran for over 200 yards and we still won the game.
Yeah.
So, they lost a lot of stability there on offense, but they do have Darius Taylor, Andrew, and he's averaging over 6 yards a carry himself. So if they do have any sort of not edge, I can't say edge. I don't know. Offensive, what's the word I'm looking for, Andrew?
Identity.
Yeah, they can run the football, man, or at least Darius Taylor can. Over 6 yards a carry. I mean, that's a first down every 2 times. So
yeah,
I think we need to be weary of that. But I'm not afraid of the passing game. The wind is supposed to be 15 to 25 miles an hour, so no one's exactly going to be slinging it around Kinnick Stadium. So yeah, it's going to be run on run. I think is what we're going to see.
Which is good because we've let up some yards in the ground game, but we've only let up 1 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown so far through 7 games. And, barring some poor tackling, maybe from Iowa, I don't really envision anything changing a lot with that. Like you said, the weapon on offense is Darius Taylor. So, that being said, let's move on. Are you looking forward to the new uniforms? We've seen it all over Twitter. We've got the black, yellow, black combination. Some people think there might be script Iowa on the front. How do you feel about the I like it. We're going alternate jerseys a little bit more this year than we have in years past. I kind of like the trying new things with the jersey combinations.
Yeah, so the last time we seen the gold uniforms was Nate Stanley, Noah Fant, right? It was the gold with the black wings. Is that the last time we saw the gold unis?
Yeah.
And they were all gold, right? So it had the top, gold pants, black helmet.
Yes.
So the way I read it, or the way I followed social media, was it's going to be black helmet, gold jersey, black pants.
Yeah, it is.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and it looks like it's not going to have the wings. It's just going to look like a lot like the black jersey, but not the wings. Except it's instead of black, it'll be gold.
Yeah. So the black with the white accent, shoulder pads, if you will.
Yeah,
instead of the wings that they had previous golds.
I just want the script Iowa on the front. I don't know if that's there, but I want the script Iowa on the front.
I love the script Iowa on the helmet.
Yeah, or on the helmet. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Iowa is a short enough name that you can fit that on the helmet just fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it really means anything, but Iowa is 0-1 when they go alternate jerseys this year. They're 6-0 the rest of the time.
To be fair, we did it in the whiteout at Penn State. So I mean, what do you want?
Right. I'm not saying it means anything because it probably doesn't, but I just wanted to throw it out there that Iowa is 0-1 when we go alternate unis. So.
And wasn't the previous gold uniform with Nate Stanley, wasn't that Woodshed, Ohio State?
No, the previous gold uni was a Penn State game as well that we lost on that last second.
To Barkley.
Trace McSorley to Juwan Johnson.
Oh, that's right. I don't know why.
Akram Wadley scored.
I don't know why I keep thinking it's Barkley.
Yeah, you're thinking of Barkley was on the team.
Okay.
Barkley was on the team and ran all over us, but Trace McSorley threw it to Juwan Johnson.
What a piece of shit, by the way, Trace McSorley.
Yeah.
Like he was no better than Graham Mertz, but he had better position players.
Right. The Woodshed, Iowa thing was the gray jerseys.
The gray alternate.
Kind of the gray helmet.
Yeah.
A little bit with the gold.
With the black herky and the gold outline.
And it was also the same year that we wore the yellow jerseys, both 2017.
So they're both Nate Stanley and Noah Fant.
Both Nate Stanley and Noah Fant, TJ Hawkinson.
Tyler Goodson.
Akram Wadley.
Oh, it was Wadley. Okay.
Akram Wadley. Yep.
I was deployed overseas in 2017, 2018, so I kind of get those mixed up.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I was here to watch it all. So, yeah, that's that'll do it for the first and second down. We're going to go ahead and take a couple commercial breaks back to back here, if that's okay, Drew.
Let's
going to hear from both Revelton and Wintrust. So, here we go.
At Revelton Distilling Company, everyone has become a part of the Revelton family. From the Taylors and their daughter who helped perfect their award-winning gins, to the team who installed Lucy, our 33-foot-tall custom-made still, right down to the local farms that provide our coveted corn, and even the cows on those farms who consume our mash byproduct. Want to see the farm to flask come to life? Now you can tour Lucy and find out where we take Iowa's harvest and transform it into our finest spirits. Choose between a 45-minute tour or find out even more by scheduling a VIP behind-the-scenes tour to get the taste of the full Revelton experience. You can visit them at 1400 West Clay Street in Osceola, Iowa, or find all of Revelton's award-winning spirits at any local grocery or spirits retailer. Are you in the market for a new house and unsure of the mortgage process? Want to know that you have someone looking out for you? Kyle Lehman from Wintrust Mortgage is a down-to-earth, knowledgeable lender who can be there for you in your corner. He can work with you in any of the 50 states and is just what you need to expand your home search. Kyle will work with you through the entire process with little to no work from you. Take the worry of the mortgage process out of the equation so that you can focus on looking for your dream home. Contact Kyle at www.wintrust.com/Kyle-Lehman or call him at 515-473-0546.
All right, welcome back in. It is third down. What do you want to see out of the Iowa offense this weekend, Drew?
What I want to see and what I think we will see are two different things, Andrew.
Okay.
But the third thing is what it's going to take to win the football game.
Okay.
And it's going to be run all over their ass.
Yeah.
It's going to be run all over their ass. 250 plus yards rushing by I don't care who.
Yeah, it'll probably be a combination of guys, I would imagine.
Yeah, it sounds like Jazz Patterson's suiting up, right?
Mm-hmm.
LaShawn Williams still there. We get darn it, I can't think of his name now. I'm having
Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson, or number one,
a little bit healthier. Yeah, LaShawn's actually listed as number one after his performance last week Saturday.
Is Caleb Johnson on the depth?
He is, but he's listed as the backup after LaShawn's performance.
Okay.
I think Kirk just gave him the nod after his performance against Wisconsin and said, "Here you go, you can be the starter." So I think we'll see all three, and then I have a dose because Iowa ran the ball 48 times last week, and like you're talking about, the wind gusting around 15, 25 miles per hour, the tight end injuries that we already know about with Lachey and all being out for the year, there's no real reason to risk putting the ball in harm's way.
I mean, unless you want to throw it to eighth-year senior Nico Ragaini, right?
Yeah.
and send him out to drive for good. I don't know.
Or worse yet, throw it to Minnesota, which could happen with Deacon Hill.
So,
right.
You know what? The service academies I've made more jokes, I guess, about how they just run the ball, right? They don't throw the ball. They don't even try, right? Because they don't. A lot of times don't need to win football games, Andrew. Mm-hmm. You know, they throw the ball 4 or 5 times a game. They run it down your throat, and they run 55, 60 plays a game. Take the time of possession away, 40 minutes to 20 minutes. And I think it's going to be a lot of that. I think 35 minutes is going to be the key number. 35 minutes of possession, that's plus 10 away from Minnesota, will be the key number in the game. Not even talking turnovers, not talking about rushing yards, not talking about the score. 35 minutes time of possession, I think, is the key number tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think you do that. You just limit the possessions. Not that Minnesota is really this high-tempo offense that wants to put a lot of points on the board anyways. I think both teams kind of want to do the same thing, right? They want to line up and run right at you. It's just that I think that Iowa might be better at it than Minnesota will be.
Dude, there's been so much growth the last 3 weeks in the offensive line, particularly in the run game, that I think we're finally peaking in the run blocking schemes. I think we're finally there in the running game. We just don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball, unfortunately, for better or worse. Just kind of a ghost back there, just handing off, throw 4 yards, whatever.
Yeah, he will have to complete a few. That's my prediction, is that he will have to complete a few, probably 7 or 8 passes tomorrow to win the game.
That's a lot, because has he completed 7 or 8 passes the last 2 games?
I don't know. I don't think he has, but I think he
I
probably will. I think they'll probably utilize the play action. It'll probably be those boots where he throws it to a guy in the flat and they run for first downs. Maybe those kinds of scenarios. I think that's what we're going to get out of Deacon Hill tomorrow. Hopefully. And again, it'll be just enough. It won't be anything spectacular. It'll be just enough for Iowa to win the football game. They're probably only going to get 1 offensive touchdown tomorrow, and that's probably all they're going to need. And I feel that way about the rest of the schedule. I think we could come on here every week before the game and say, if Iowa scores one offensive touchdown, they're going to win the game. Because
I'm glad you brought that up, Andrew. Because
Yeah.
let me run this down for you, because I did a little pregame research here.
Okay.
Of the remaining schedule, since the running joke for the Iowa Hawkeyes is the terrible offense, right? Worst in the country, right?
Mhm.
What's remaining for total offenses on the Iowa schedule? Minnesota this Saturday, 119th. By the way, there's 130. We are 130. Minnesota, 119. Illinois, 83. Congratulations, Illinois. You are the highest offense left on Iowa's schedule.
Okay.
Nebraska, 101st. Rutgers, tied for 108th. And Northwestern, 120th. So, yeah,
Okay.
you're exactly right. One offensive touchdown probably does it.
Per game. One offensive touchdown per game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we know that the Iowa defense is good enough to not allow multiple offensive touchdowns per game to those offenses
Right.
that you just mentioned.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
And we also have to go into every game feeling like the defense and or special teams is going to score. Specifically, Cooper DeJean. I don't know if we can predict it.
That is so wild, Andrew, because I listened to Murph and Andy today, and they do the segment "Call Your Shot," right? So they have callers call in and make predictions, this, that, and the other, and more than half of them had defensive touchdowns in their prediction. Like, it's an expectation now.
Yeah, and it almost should be with the way that Iowa plays defense.
That is wild.
It is.
That is not okay.
See, that's where I struggle and where I debate.
I mean, I'm not mad about it, obviously, but
yeah,
like, you can't depend on that.
It's kind of like, do you just embrace what this team is at this point? I say yes. You kind of just have to as an Iowa fan, because it's not really going to change. We aren't going to suddenly become some high flying offense over the next 5 games. It's just not going to happen. So you just got to embrace that they're going to win these games ugly. It's going to look like 15-6. It's going to look like 17-3 or whatever it is. It's going to look that way for the rest of the season. So, and I'm okay with it as long as we go 11-1. If we go 11-1 and we average 17 points per game, who the heck cares? We win 11-1.
Speaking of that, Andrew, so I don't know if you've looked down the road, right? 11-1. Just call it 11-1, right?
Yeah.
We get trounced in the Big Ten championship game like expected.
Sure.
So we're 11-2, right? More times than not, that puts you in a New Year's 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to this year.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, probably not. Not with the way Penn State and Michigan look.
No. So Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Just take that.
Yeah.
And then all the bowl ties and their stipulations going down the road. The Citrus Bowl you can only go to 2 out of 3 years. Iowa's already done that. The Outback Bowl, previous Outback Bowl, whatever it is now, ReliaQuest Bowl, right? I think they've been to 2 out of the last 3 years or some shit. So they're like automatically can't go there and play Kentucky for the 3rd straight year. So like the bowl projections go clear down to the Las Vegas Bowl on December 23rd. Andrew, does that fire you up for an 11-win freaking Iowa football team in the Big Ten to go to Las Vegas on December 23rd? What the hell is that?
I believe we can go to the Citrus Bowl.
But that's technically a New Year's 6, right?
I don't think so. I don't think that's a New Year's 6, but I believe we can go to the Citrus Bowl. And I have seen bowl projections out there that have Iowa, Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl. So,
and Tennessee's going to be like a 4-loss team.
Yeah. So 11-2 Iowa versus 8-4 Tennessee.
Probably.
I really want the freaky of all freaky to happen, though.
College football playoff and win it.
Yes.
Not win the college football playoff, but win the Big Ten championship game to make somebody fucking make that decision.
Yeah, I need to see what a committee would do with a 12-1 Iowa that averages 17 to 18 points per game and wins the Big Ten championship. I'm not going to predict that, but I need to see it because it would set the world on fire if they were like, yeah, okay, I guess Iowa's in.
Okay, so let me ask you a two-parter here, okay?
Okay, all right. This is our fourth down. Ask
Yep.
me this two-parter.
The best scenario for Iowa to play which team in the Big Ten championship game? And the most likely. So what sets up for Iowa the best? Question one. And what is most likely going to happen? Question two.
I think the best scenario, honestly, is to play Ohio State. And I am putting that mainly on the fact of those three teams that you mentioned, Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. I think Kyle McCord is the worst quarterback out of those three. They've got Marvin Harrison Jr., but we've got Cooper DeJean. Ibuka's been a little bit banged up. Ohio State has a really good defense as well, but I'm really just looking at the quarterback and thinking of the three quarterbacks from the teams that we'll probably face, which one could beat us the easiest, and it's not Kyle McCord. It's JJ McCarthy, Drew Aller. Well, we've already seen it with Drew Aller. But what's most likely to happen is Michigan, unless the problems that Michigan has impact this season in some way, shape, or form. Probably not, but Michigan just looks like the best team, maybe the best team in college football, and I'm not going to bet against them.
So my answer to that question is actually the same team, and I'm going to shock you.
Okay.
Penn State.
Oh. Okay.
We've already played them once, right?
All right. Let's hear this.
I think the most likely scenario is Penn State beats Ohio State tomorrow.
Oh. Okay.
I think they have a better defense. Like you said, Kyle McCord is the weakest quarterback of the three.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as the second half of playing Penn State again, having a second go around at it, you have tape on it. You played a familiar opponent before. We're not going to turn over the ball 4 fucking times again. And if we do, well then fuck it, right? Like we weren't going to beat any of them, regardless if it was Michigan or Ohio State. We're not turning the ball over 4 times again.
Yeah, right.
Which led to that big disaster. But man, Iowa plays their best football in November and December. And we've seen time and time again the way that we're running the ball now. We don't need to have Cade McNamara out there hobbled and shit, trying to throw passes that we have no business throwing. Right? So I think because we have a new identity and that we know the opponent is the best scenario. Now, I'm not saying that we can beat them. I'm not. Okay. I'm just saying that out of the three and what I think is most likely, both is Penn State.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, your logic makes sense to me. I didn't see it that way, but yeah, it seems like solid logic that I can't argue with. So we are in agreement, though, that it's okay for Iowa to go to the Big Ten championship. We want to make the Big Ten championship.
Hell yeah!
Have you seen Have you seen the Hawk fans on Twitter that are like, we don't want to go to the Big Ten championship because we're going to get embarrassed? That's nonsense, guys. Come on. Like, even if we get destroyed by 50, 60 points, I still want to say we were there.
Why are you even a sports fan if you're rooting for that shit?
Right.
And now, granted, I can see like the scenario of fans where they want us to fall flat on our face, fire the whole coaching staff, and the first thing we do going into the new Big Ten is have a new staff, somebody that can actually call plays, stuff like that. Like, I would rather root for that of just shitting the bed completely and going 6-6. But I don't want to do either, obviously, Andrew. But
yeah,
I would rather do that than root against the fact that we're going to the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, that's never made any sense to me, and so hopefully everyone can go ahead and just put that down. All right, final cut time. We got to go ahead and make our predictions for this week's game. I'll start off, and then you can wrap it up. I'm gonna say that Iowa does take care of business pretty well here. I think this is going to be Iowa 20, Minnesota 3. I don't really see Minnesota finding the end zone. I don't really see Minnesota maybe not even really crossing midfield for most of the game, to be honest. Torrey Taylor's going to have a hell of a week, just like he did last week. And I think, like you said, the Hawks keep it going on the ground. Probably, I think 200 yards is more than reasonable, again, given the fact that like Minnesota's giving up almost 150 yards per game. I think 200 yards is well within reach for this Iowa team. So give me Iowa 20, Minnesota 3.
My prediction, Andrew, is a lot similar to yours. I have 24-6 Iowa, keeping him out of the end zone, 2 short field goal chippies that they get. Again, I think the key number is 35 minutes time of possession, and I think we run the ball for 250 yards. And that's literally all it's going to take to just kick their ass.
Yeah, probably.
So the fact that the spread in Vegas is only 3.5, like I don't understand that. That doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah. What they're seeing is Iowa's going into a bye. Minnesota's coming off a bye. Iowa's coming off a big win at Madison. Maybe they think it's a little bit of a letdown spot. But we know that Kirk Ferentz doesn't really usually allow for those kinds of letdowns. He gets the team focused. The outside noise is kind of pushed to the side. I mean, they celebrated that win, I'm sure, over Wisconsin, but immediately come Monday, they were right back at it. They were ready, focused, and Kirk just has PJ Fleck's number, man. Like he's just coach circles around PJ Fleck. So we both feel good.
Yeah, we got to keep Floyd home. And for the last second buzzer, let's give a shout out to the Iowa women. Obviously, we didn't have any worries that we were going to lose to DePaul in an exhibition game, but 55,000 fans packed Kinnick Stadium, Andrew, including yourself.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, a triple-double, which, by the way, was way above the over-under 21.5 minutes played that we talked about last week on the episode.
Oh, yeah. The starters played a lot of minutes in that game. They played it like a regular season game, man. I think they just knew that there were a lot of people there to see that. To see Caitlin Clark, to see her put on a show. And so they went for it. And thanks to DePaul too, they were a good opponent. They were more than gracious enough, and they seemed to enjoy the experience as well. So I thought it was a really cool experience for everyone that was there, both Iowa and DePaul. And Iowa fans, obviously. It was a great experience. We had the IOWA chant going on for like 12 minutes. During the fourth quarter. I thought it was going to go the whole entire fourth quarter of the basketball game. It was nuts because it sounded like a football game when that's going on.
Yeah, for
sure. It was cool. It was really cool.
Did the wave have any different vibe in a basketball setting than it does for football? Did it feel any different?
No, not really. It felt the same. It felt like the same good old wave. Obviously, I think the women's team was just thrilled to be a part of it because they had never been a part of it as players before.
For sure.
Only as fans. So, and I think that's really why they wanted to do the game outdoors at Kinnick, was so that they could do the wave. I mean, I know they wanted to show off in front of a bunch of people, but they also wanted to do the wave. I think that was a prime motivating factor for Coach Bluter and staff. So, yeah, we'll be back next week because it's bye week to talk basketball. So we're going to talk women's and men's basketball, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll be back after the game, maybe even Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. I might have some things going on, but we'll be back to wrap up the game after Iowa, Minnesota are done. So find us wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for joining us tonight. Find us Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you like to listen to us. We appreciate it. Appreciate all of you as always. Thanks for tuning in, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Let's go.